You know, it's like when something bad happens to you, you can either decide, oh, I'm going to let this eat me alive and I'm going to become this person who's mad at the world because I'm mad at it happening to me. Or you can say, okay, this really bad thing happened and I'm going to use it to change my perspective on life and try to be the best person I can be so that no one around me has to experience like trauma because of me.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of the podcast Chatzzz. And we have, I think you're probably the second most recurring guest now.
After Henry.
Yeah. I think maybe joint second most recurring. How does that feel?
Fine, I guess.
Just fine.
Yeah. But all I can think about right now is that I can't see. So.
Yeah. And we've messaged. Here.
Yeah, when I have sunglasses on, it feels like all my senses are just muted. Like I can't see, I can't hear, I can smell, and I can swallow.
You can smell me, that I smell like protein farts, apparently. But we have messaged the rental and she hasn't told us what time she's going to come and check us out. So
I think I have falafel in my teeth.
Sexy. The checkout's normally 10, but we checked out last time at 12:30, didn't we? I messaged her at 7 this morning. She said, yeah, you can be the latest checkout. And I said, okay, what time? And she hasn't replied. So
here we are.
If she interrupts, then she can join in the podcast. Mm-hmm. So we weren't sure what we wanted to talk about today, were we?
No.
So I said,
you're the host.
So we said,
give me questions.
Self-improvement, why it's important to try and be the best version of yourself. Because we're having a conversation. I think there's somebody above us in the apartment now. They're going to listen to the podcast. They're going to be in for a treat. We were saying the other day of why it's important to be the best version of yourself and not compare yourself to previous versions of yourself. So why is it important to try and be the best version of your current self and not compare yourself to your previous self?
I don't think we talked about this. The not comparing yourself to yourself thing. I've never said that in my life.
What were we talking about yesterday then?
I was saying about how proud I was about how far I've came, and that when I look back and see how I was in the past and see how I am at this time a year later, I'm like, wow, but that is saying to compare yourself to see how far you've came.
All right, okay.
I feel like we interpreted this very differently.
All right, well, I thought it was like...
To not compare. No, I'm saying it's like really important to look back on previous versions of yourself to realise how far you've actually came. Mm. Yeah, that was my point.
Yeah.
I feel like we've missed the mark on that one.
Oh.
What's your version then? Because I feel like we see this differently, so it could be interesting to discuss.
I feel like you've got different chapters in your life though.
Yeah, but why shouldn't you compare yourself to your past self? Is that not a good thing? Because how else are you going to see how much you've improved if you don't look back on how you used to be?
Yeah, I suppose it's probably where I contradict myself in that, yes, you should compare, but no, you shouldn't compare at the same time, because maybe in that moment or that stage of your life, you maybe made the right decision, or that was the right decision for you. But then if you're in the current version of yourself and you had to make that decision, you might make that decision differently.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, but I feel like that doesn't relate to what we're talking about. We're talking about how in being the best, you're saying to be the best version of yourself, you shouldn't look back on past versions. I don't understand how those two things link together.
Or maybe I just made up absolute bollocks. And
well,
you lead with that. How you want to interpret them?
So I thought at dinner last night, what we were talking about is we were saying how obviously this time last year I wasn't in the best of places and I probably wasn't acting in my best self. And we were saying how if you compare me this time this year to me this time last year, it shows how far I've came. And then we were saying, you were saying you were proud of me and I was saying I'm proud of me. But I mean, you have to kind of do a direct comparison to realise how far you've came, no?
Yeah, I suppose so. That's true. That makes sense.
Yeah. I think what you're trying to say is you shouldn't judge yourself in the past too much because you made the right decision based on the information you had at the time. But that's not about comparing. That's just not judging your past self.
True.
And not like thinking about it too deeply. I think it's not looking back on the mistakes you made as much, but I think if it's in the way to show yourself how far you've came, I don't think there's any problems with looking back.
No, that's true. I probably just interpreted it in the wrong way or communicated it in the wrong way.
Yeah.
So if you are looking back at your previous self and how far you've come, what do you think you've done to help improve that version of yourself?
I think it starts with not using your trauma as an excuse. Like, I think the biggest steps forward I have had in healing is when I said, and this wasn't even that long ago, but when I said, I'm not going to use what happened to me as an excuse anymore. Because I think when you do that, you can be too gentle on yourself, I think. And it's like, oh, I'm acting like this because this happened to me, or I'm not doing this thing because this happened to me. And it's a really dangerous cycle you can get into where you can maybe start treating yourself badly, treating those around you badly. It's like some people might turn to drink or drugs or shopping or food or whatever it is, and you start to tell yourself, well, I'm allowed this thing because something really terrible happened to me. So I think that was like the biggest step for me in really moving forwards.
It's a good point, isn't it, really?
Yeah. But I mean, it's easier said than done, because of course you're going to feel like a victim when you've went through something that completely turned your whole life upside down and no one else understands it, and it was like the most painful thing you've ever experienced and your life changed overnight. Of course you're going to feel like a victim, because you do just think, well, why me? Like, why did that have to happen to me? But then you get into that victim mindset, you start making excuses for your behavior. And I just feel like it's understanding that that was a thing that happened to you and it happened in the past, but you don't need to bring that into every single day of your future. And it's if you do, you're letting that thing that happened to you control you. Yeah.
Yeah. Especially these days, it's quite easy for people, and I feel like people do it, is just, like you say, act the victim. Whereas, yeah, you are in control.
Yeah, and the thing is, you are a victim. You are, when something happens to you, you are a victim, but you can't lead that victim mindset and let that affect you, because at the end of the day, you might have been a victim in that moment, but you're not a victim every single day. Like, I think that's one thing that has helped me too, is understanding that the bad thing that happened to you isn't happening to you every single day. And that helps you start to feel safe in your body, and then you start making better decisions, I feel.
Yeah, it's an interesting point, isn't it? Because I feel like these days, yeah, like you say, you are a victim in the moment, but every day you're not a victim.
Yeah.
And you're the one who's in control of your choices, and you can make pretty much whatever choice you want to make. If that's good, bad, indifferent, if that's in a positive way, a negative way. And the other thing as well, I think, if you're trying to be the best version of yourself, you don't have to have your best day every day, do you, either?
No, and I think too, like, there's no end goal. I don't think you're never going to get to a point where you think, oh, I am the best version of myself now. Like, I think healing, growing, it's continuous work that you're going to have to do every day. And if you think there is this point you're going to get to where, oh my God, everything's fixed, everything's healed, you're just going to continually be disappointed. So yeah, it's just important to remember that the end goal isn't being 100% amazing and perfect and the best thing in the world. It's just getting that bit better every day. And it's for yourself more than anything. I think there's been times where you could make certain life decisions that might look good to the outside world, but I think healing and being the best version of yourself is actually about feeling good yourself. Like, it's not getting this huge promotion and like all this outside materialistic stuff. It's how you actually feel in your body, because you're the one that has to feel that every single day.
Yeah, you have to live with that, don't you?
Yeah.
It's about, like, not pleasing other people or doing things for other people's validation and doing things because, it actually makes you happy.
Yeah.
And even in the moment, if those people you care about or people you don't even know if you're doing it for like social media purposes, is that, you might not please some of those people, or they might not agree with the decisions you make, but in the long term, you will definitely be a lot happier and more content in your own life.
It's like the example I always think of in this situation is when I decided to move home from Australia, and we talk about this a lot. And it's like, obviously, it's the dream to live in Australia. And I was there for 3.5 years and I had the best time. But towards the end, I wasn't living like my best self. I was making decisions that weren't good for me or those around me. And it just got to a point where it was like, what do I need to do for me and not what looks good to everyone else? Because to everyone else in the world, why would you move back from Australia to your small hometown in the north of England? Like that just, there's no logic in that at all. Like everyone would constantly be like, oh my God, you're living your best life. And yeah, I had moments of that. But when it got to a point where I was living my worst life more than my best, that was a decision I had to make for myself and not care about. Because I did think, oh, what are people going to think? People, like, for one, you shouldn't care about what people think. And for two, people think about you for 0.1 second and then they go back to thinking about their own issues. Like to think that, I think it's called tall poppy syndrome. There's a thing where you just think that everyone is thinking about you all the time. And the moment you realize that you are the smallest blip of thought in someone's head in a day, it's the most freeing thing in the world.
He's a major judge for that literal millisecond or 10 seconds, and then as soon as they've been like, what weirdo or blah, 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 they just go on with their day. Because if you think, like say in my life, yeah, you may go on Instagram, you might see like a story or a post and be like, what the fuck? But then you just keep on scrolling, you keep on going on by your day, you'll still have food, you go out and about, you go to the gym, and you just don't think about that thing.
And it's like, even if they do think about you for a full day, who actually cares? Like, okay, cool. Like find a hobby, get a job. Like that's rich for me to say, but you know. You
should feel privileged that somebody's
like I am taking up space in your brain.
Yeah, living rent free.
Yeah.
What do you think some of the main things that you've done that have helped you, would you say?
So I think from this, it's like, it's hard without going into detail. But I guess some of the things that you could kind of relate to anything you've been through, not specific to anything. The biggest one was like not turning to my usual bad vices. I think when I'd been through things in the past, when I was living in Australia, I definitely disassociated and turned to drink, etc. more. And I think that was like the first decision I made, was that's not going to happen this time. And then in the same like category, it's then deciding, well, what are you going to replace those bad habits with? Because when you go through something, you need to get your dopamine from somewhere. Like you are going to need to have your attention on something. So if you're not going to go to the bad things, then well, what are some healthy habits that you can become obsessed with almost? And then that's when I feel like you probably see me get I've always been into health and fitness, but I definitely got a lot more obsessive, but in a healthy way about it in the past like few months to a year really. And obviously that's when I turned to Pilates as well to help, and just walking and just moving my body, I think was the biggest healthy habit that I put in. And then also obviously healthy eating as well. And
I think that's a good thing and quite a lot of people seem to do that, don't they? If they're like, say, struggling through like, I don't know, binge drinking or whatever addiction and that kind of thing, they do turn to like health or fitness.
Yeah,
and use that as their vice, because it is addictive at the same time.
Yeah, it's like because if you try to just cut something out cold turkey and don't replace it with anything, it's going to be so hard. But of course, it's important to not then just like literally get addicted to the other thing, even if it's a good thing, because too much of anything can be bad. But I think it's like if you go through a breakup and you have this big hole in your life, if you fill it with seeing your friends, seeing your family, doing a hobby, it's going to be that much easier. Like you're not going to miss it as much.
No. And with health and fitness, it's quite good because it's progress as well. You can track your progress.
Yeah.
So say like when you do Pilates, was it yesterday or the day before? You think, oh, I was doing these new moves for the first time.
Yeah, and when I feel myself getting stronger, I'm like, oh my God, like that was so much easier this time. Like I feel like I'm getting stronger, and I feel like that's such a good feeling.
Yeah, and me with running as well. Say I like the progress of time, so you can obviously track your own time. That's a battle against yourself more than anybody else, isn't it?
And then what else did I do? Therapy. I think that helped a lot. I was actually thinking before if I want to carry it on though.
Yeah, why?
I think that therapy isn't meant, well, my personal opinion is that therapy isn't meant to be a lifelong thing. I think you have seasons of your life where you probably need it and others where you don't. And I think the danger that I'm starting to feel may start happening is that I'm taken back to a place where I feel like I have moved on from. Because obviously I haven't been in this time of being here, and I do feel like I've made some of the biggest steps forward.
Yeah.
I think it's really important, because I don't think I would be where I am today if I didn't do it. But I think it's at a point now where it's like, maybe you make an appointment if you start to struggle again. I don't know. It's an interesting one, because sometimes I'll be sat in the therapy sessions and she'll say something and I kind of just think to myself, I don't feel like that anymore. Like I'm actually not struggling with that anymore.
Yeah. I've never been to therapy, but only firsthand from your thoughts and what you've shared from it. But I think I agree with you in the sense of, from my understanding of it, it's like great when you're, whatever reason you go to therapy, to go and then talk about it and understand and maybe think about things you haven't really thought about initially. But then, like you say, if you say you're in the process of moving on, or you feel like you have moved on, then going back to the reason why you initially went, it could like trigger things.
Dependent on why you go to, because if you're just going to just improve your life and just chat, and if it's not a specific thing, then maybe it is a lifelong thing. But I think when you go for a very specific reason in every session, things get brought back to that reason, it sometimes can be a bit triggering. But I mean, a therapy, it can be triggering anyways. But I think for me, I always thought I was too self-aware to need therapy. I was always like, I know this stuff already. There's nothing a therapist can tell me that I don't know. But sometimes just to hear what you already know said to you from a person that's not your family, not your friends, and just have like, it's such an open and honest conversation therapy. Like I have said things in that room that I'd actually say it to you, maybe my mum, maybe not. Yeah, I've said things that you're like, oh, what just came out of my mouth? But it is about creating that kind of safe place. And I feel like that does help you move on. And kind of in the same way of kind of a similar thing that we were saying about when you asked what I did, I think from the start of the trauma, deciding to face it head on, like, I think I like not running from something and being like, okay, this has happened to me and I'm not going to pretend it hasn't. And that's when the therapy and stuff comes in, because you're not going to get therapy if you don't think you've been through something, you don't think you need help. Yeah.
And the other point I think I would like to make as well, from what you've told me and from what you've experienced, is maybe not the first therapist is the one for you either.
Yeah,
it's like trying out which ones work for you.
Yeah, so I went to, the first one was more of is it holistic, they say? And I'm actually a very woo-woo person. Like, I like the crystals, I believe in energy, I believe in all this stuff. But for me, it just wasn't right. Like, she did Reiki on me. And I realized all I wanted to do was talk. Like, I was trying to kind of tell her my story and tell her what had happened to me. And it was more about her doing the stuff. And that's when I realized that talking therapy was probably the thing for me. And it was just like, honestly, and it sounds kind of not self-absorbed, I don't know what the word is. Sometimes you just need someone to say to you, like, that is really shit what you went through. Like, you just want to say your story and have someone say back to you, like, yes, that was horrible. Like, it was really, really, really horrible. Like, that was the worst thing that could have happened. It was the worst case scenario happened to you. But then they say, okay, so now how are we going to help you heal? And I think, that's sometimes just all you need to hear to like get you to that stage where you're like, okay, yeah. Because I think because I'm always, I don't know if you've noticed, not as bad now, but it's always like, oh, I'm fine. Like, it's okay. Like, I've never liked people feeling sorry for me. I've never wanted to seem like I was kind of saying a sob story. But when it's just your life and it's what happened to you, it's like, it's okay to be like, this really, really shitty thing happened to me. But then going back to what we were saying at the start, I'm not going to be a victim to it, and I'm not going to let it control my life. Like, and as well, I think a big mindset shift was saying, this really shitty thing happened to me, but there can be good things that come from a really shitty thing. And I think that sounds really weird sometimes. And maybe if you haven't went through something horrible, you'd be thinking, what, you're saying that this bad thing happening has caused these good things to happen? Like, how could you even say that? Like, that's a horrible thing to say. But it's not saying that. It's saying that you chose to make good from the bad. You know, it's like when something bad happens to you, you can either decide, oh, I'm going to let this eat me alive and I'm going to become this person who's mad at the world because I'm mad at it happening to me. Or you can say, okay, this really bad thing happened and I'm going to use it to change my perspective on life and try to be the best person I can be so that no one around me has to experience like trauma because of me. And yeah, if it makes sense. What?
And I suppose that goes back a bit to the victim mindset stuff we were talking about earlier, isn't it? And so we're saying the mindset is important, some kind of vice, fitness goal, and then therapy as well. So they're the main ones that help you.
And surrounding yourself with the right people too. I think when you go through something, like your circle's going to get smaller. That's just naturally going to happen because people get kind of scared. Like people don't know what to say. And it's like, you don't need to say anything. Like, I'm still normal. I'm still me. Like, just because I went through some shit doesn't mean that I'm not just the normal Claudia. Well, obviously, a bit different. But it's not like I'm going to, like, sit there crying every day and, like, you know. But I think just let your circle get smaller. I think that's not a bad thing. And find the people who are going to be there to just be normal with you. Like, you're not asking for much, just normal people, normal friends. Like, yeah, I think surrounding yourself with the right people definitely helps too.
Oh, definitely. I think, like I say, even in just as you get older, you realise that as well, don't you? Because everyone gets busier, has less time, just, can't be asked doing stuff they don't want to do.
Yeah.
And either doing stuff that you want to do or doing stuff with people that you actually want to do it with, and not just doing it because you've been asked to do it and it seems like the cool thing to do. Like we were saying earlier, isn't it? It's do what makes you happy, because at the end of the day, you're the one who's gonna have to live in your own head and think, I wish I didn't do that. I feel knackered tomorrow. Then you don't do what you actually wanted to do. So what was that thing that we said yesterday, a couple of days ago, where if you go out, you're stealing time from the next day or something like that, wasn't it?
Yeah. So like, I think
it doesn't have to be going out, but in general, but if you do something that you don't want to do, then you're taking time away from stuff that you do want to do.
Yeah, it's like, like when you go out drinking, you're just stealing time from the next day. Because I went out on Saturday, then we literally did fuck all on Sunday. But that's it. Sometimes you do want to make that decision. Like sometimes that's fine. Like there is going to be times where you're like, you know what, I'm going to go out and have a good time, and I know it's going to take away from my tomorrow, but that's okay. Yeah,
and don't set unrealistic goals for yourself on the day after and say, right, I'm going to get up, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to go for a run, I'm going to do loads of work, I'm going to do loads of house things. But it's like, if you decide to go out, just write off the next day and say, that's fine. Because I feel like that's the mindset, isn't it? If you say, right, I need to do these tasks, you don't do it, then you feel shit. Whereas if you don't do anything, don't set yourself anything, any objectives or goals, and you do a couple of things, it's a different thing to think, oh, I actually did a couple of things there.
I feel like
you need to enjoy yourself in the day.
Going back to when we were talking about surrounding yourself with the right people, it's okay to be lonely for a bit as well. Like, it is literally so fine to be lonely. Like, you're better being lonely than being surrounded by hundreds of people that aren't on your level and don't have your best interest at heart, because you will eventually find the right people. Like, I always think, say if you fill your life with these 5 people who you don't really actually get on with that well, but you're just clinging on to them for dear life because you don't want to be lonely. So then you're going out and you're going for dinner with this friend. If you weren't, you could have had the opportunity to meet. Like, there's no space in your life. Like, we only, especially as you said before, as we get older, we have a very limited amount of time and space. So if you're filling that with people that aren't really on your same energy and vibe anymore, like, how are the people that are ever going to get into your life?
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah.
It's literally impossible.
I mean, it's hard though. Like, no one wants to be lonely, do they? Like, it's not a nice feeling. And I think humans were made to connect, and we're made to kind of be around other people. And especially, like, I'm the type of person that gets my energy from being around people, so that's really important to me. But it's just like, put that time and energy into going to places where, like, doing things you enjoy, because you're more likely to meet people.
Yeah.
similar, like go to the Pilates class. If you like walking, go join a walk club or a run club, and then if you're in the right environment, you're likely to find people.
Yeah, that's true. Because, yeah, especially as you progress through life, which I'm finding is, would you say it's harder to make new friends, or it just doesn't come as easy?
See, I don't know, like people say, I think what we were talking about the other day is that people, especially in the UK, are a lot less willing to make new friends because they've had this same,
boxes falling off.
They've had the same friends that they've had like their whole life since school, and they're just not, maybe they don't have the time, or they're just not that open or willing. But I found it when I moved to Australia super easy to make friends. Like I felt like everyone was so willing to make new connections, and I think it's the same here. Like we've only been here for a while, and I feel like we have friends.
But yeah, we were saying that, especially say in Marbella as an example, just because we're here right now, that because there's not that many people, well, that I know of and we know of, that are actually from Marbella that maybe have their friendship cliquey groups. It's quite an international, multicultural place where people came from anywhere across the UK or anywhere across Europe. So people are more inclined to put themselves out there a bit more and make a few more friends. And like you made a friend over here since you've been here because you went to the same uni and worked at the same place, wasn't it? And then you reach out.
Even in Australia, like all my friends had always lived in Australia. They're all Australians, and they were still willing to like make new connections. And I don't know what, and there's just a general vibe in the UK. People are very shut off, I feel. Like when you're walking down the street, it's very rare that someone will say hi to you. Like it's just not common there.
Especially in London.
Yeah, and I feel like in the UK, I mean, we're making such generalizations here. I'm sure it's not all of the UK. But I think people are like, well, if I have this thing, like I need to keep it all for myself because there's only so much to go around, and like you can't have it. You know, like people get protective over their like assets and things, and they don't want to share. It's like they think there's like limited resources to go around. Whereas like if someone else has something, that should make you feel good because that means you can get it too. Like someone else having something doesn't mean that you can't have it. And I think like that's why people are more closed off, because they don't want to make those connections. It's like, oh, what if you steal my idea about this thing? And it's like, girl, like it's not that deep. Like we're all going to die one day. Like if someone steals your idea, let them, because it's never going to be fully like what you would do it as, because it won't have your like spin on it.
You should always use it as motivation because everybody is a human being at the end of the day. But yeah, that's the thing, especially if you know somebody or you follow somebody and you think, oh, that's cool what they've done or they achieved what they've got. Just think, well, why can't you do the same thing? You can have it
too. Yeah. There's enough to go around for us all in this world. You can do it too if can do.
I remember that advert. Yeah, that's cool. What else would you if anybody was asking what's helped you? You said surround yourself with good people.
Surrounding yourself.
Or about setting yourself a goal.
I don't think I ever did that.
Pilates instructor.
Oh, I guess. But that was pretty recent. I don't think that's a goal. That's just something I'm doing.
Yeah, but it's still a goal to it.
I think I'm very goal orientated.
No. Well, what would you call that then? Of like signing up and saying you want to qualify? What would you say?
But I'll just do it. Like I think a goal is something you could fail.
You could fail the Pilates instructor.
But I just won't.
There is an option of failing though.
But I'm not going to.
Right, well, I would say...
You're goal-orientated.
Yeah, but I feel like just because you're not goal-orientated doesn't mean that isn't a goal. Because...
But I don't... Wait a second. You can't tell me how my feelings... You can't tell... Like, what do you mean? I'm not setting myself... It's not a goal to me. Okay. How can you say... Like, you can't say...
Or having a purpose or something.
Yeah, I think finding a purpose, 100%.
Yeah. Well, we can rephrase it to that then, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that, goals can work for some people really well, but I just like to not, like there's never an end goal for me. And even with the Pilates thing, it's like, just because I've got my certificate doesn't mean I'm done learning. Like to me, and with everything in life, it's like an ever-going process. I see it more as a process with steps. But personally, I just don't phrase it as I have goals because I just don't personally like that. Is that okay?
That's
Are
absolutely
you
fine.
going to tell me that I have goals?
No, I'm saying just setting yourself a purpose to
No,
work towards.
finding a purpose is 100%
You're finding a
important.
purpose, yeah.
I think finding a purpose is really good. Although I wouldn't say Pilates is like my purpose. I think
Right, well, just do a Pilates course for no reason.
it's not for no reason. It's because I enjoy it and want to make like a career from it. I think I chose to do, I didn't know what I was wanting to do with my life, did I? And then my therapist said, well, take it back to the basics. What do you enjoy? I say Pilates. Then we go, well, why not try and make a career from that? That was the decision. But I think, finding a purpose. I think the purpose that I found was kind of trying to be a good version of myself. I think I found purpose in that. It was less about like a specific goal and more about a general overall feeling. Like I didn't want to feel how I felt, and I guess I found purpose in trying to get out of that.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But yeah, like, it doesn't have to be purpose. It can be a hobby.
Something to look forward to.
Just having like things to look forward to, having something that makes you want to get up in the morning, even though you're not going to want to a lot of days. But yeah, no, I know what you mean. You're just more like boy business, and I'm more like...
Yeah, you know what I mean, though.
You're like 3 goals I set myself in 2025. Grow my business, keep not drinking alcohol, have better relationships, firework emojis,
Is that what I said?
rocket emojis.
Did I set goals this year? I don't think I did, didn't I?
Yeah, and you also like,
very
I
general,
achieved all my goals last year. Not only did I achieve them, what did you say? You
Smashed them.
like
Surpassed them.
surpassed, yeah.
I'm just such a goal guru.
So if you want more like, yeah, that's his vibes. Goals and that.
Goals. But yeah, I think maybe the better way to say it in your case is like, something to look forward to. Like, so something to get up in the morning.
Yeah, it's
Like
just
some form of,
making your day full of things that you enjoy. Like,
yeah, because if even say like if you go to a job that you don't particularly enjoy, having something outside of that job that you look forward to doing gives you some kind of motivation.
I'll just try and get out of the job, honestly. I know it's not realistic for everyone, but just get a different job. I think people are way too attached to, I need to work in this company for like 10 years because I might get a 2% pay rise. And it's like, just go work somewhere else.
Yeah.
Personally, I believe.
But yeah, okay. Any other points or?
What of how I feel like I got to a better place. Actually, one interesting thing we were talking about last night, wasn't it? How progress is so slow for so long, and then suddenly you'll feel like you moved 100 steps forwards in one night. Like it feels like you're literally moving at a snail's pace and you take like 1 step forward, a gazillion steps back for so long. And then suddenly you'll just like wake up one day and you'll see how you feel and you'll look at your life and you'll be like, wait a second, like, huh? Like, when did this happen? Like, when did I actually feel good in my body? When did I feel in control? When has it been this long that I haven't had a really bad period? Like, when have I actually just been, I guess, happy and liked my life circumstances? Like, you are going to feel like nothing's happening for so long, and it's important to not let that deter you. I mean, it's the same if someone's on a weight loss journey or a weight gain journey or whatever they are, and they'll be like, I'm not losing any weight or whatever, and then suddenly they'll like lose heaps and it feels like, oh, it happened overnight. But it's not. It's like you have to persist through that time when it just feels like, why am I doing this? Like, why am I going to therapy? Why am I making myself get up in the morning? Like, nothing's ever getting better. Nothing feels good. Like, people are telling me, oh, if you do this stuff, you're going to feel better. I'm not, though. But then it's like, you are progressing even when you can't see it. It is happening. Your brain is literally rewiring every day that you do these things that are good for you. And then, eventually one day you just kind of, you wake up and you're like, oh, okay. And I remember saying to my therapist, I was like, is it normal to start to feel better? Like, I was confused. I was like, is this normal? Is this what happens? And she was like, yeah. That's what happens. Yeah.
But yeah, it's compounding.
Posture was so bad on this seat.
Yeah, compounding interest, like stocks.
That's fun. Oh, I'm getting all.
Even though I don't invest in stocks, but yeah, it's like one of them things where I say,
Invest in stocks, the market's down.
yeah, unless it goes down even more. So yeah, if you invest, say, and you get, say, 10% interest, you invest 1,000, you get 100, and then you get 10% of the 1,100, and vice versa. And then, like, over, say, X amount of time, the growth will be exponential. But it depends how zoomed in you look at this progress as well. Because like you're saying, it can be up and down. So if you're very zoomed in, looking like a day, like you're saying about the stock market, if it's gone down 10%, you think, fuck, it's gone down 10%, the world's going to end, I'm going to have no money. But if you zoom out and you look over the last 20 years, it'll have gone up like that. So yeah, it's so those little things that have shown up every single day. And yeah, not every day is going to be your best day. But over time, it will slowly go on the up. But like I say, if you're looking a week, it might be like a bit up, bit down, a bit up, bit down. But then if you look over a year, like you can look over a year and say that, yeah, your progress has been upwards.
Well, there was lots of downs in there.
Yeah, but like if you zoomed out over a year, you'd say...
I'd say it was probably like this. Like, obviously you start right at the bottom and then... maybe like that, but then the downs took me down further. That's another that's a weird thing too. It's like you think you've started at rock bottom, but then you'll actually just go even further down. But then eventually you become, what I was saying to you is, not only do I feel like I'm getting back to myself, I feel like I'm getting back to myself, but a better version of myself as well, which I feel is obviously a good thing.
No, it's the best thing you can possibly do, isn't it? So
yeah, I think like, oh sorry,
I was going to say, I just look at it in business terms of...
I'm like, it's just how I feel. And you're like in stock markets and whatever, I'm like, I
don't know anything about stock markets, so if I sound like I do, I definitely don't. But say in my business, I just think over the last nearly 5 years, the first few years was very down, and then last year it was like up, and then it's hopefully continues to go up, otherwise yeah, we fucked. But yeah, it's like progress, isn't it? You start at the bottom.
Yeah, I feel like it's funny because we're obviously coming at this from two very different, like you're talking about business and I'm talking about deep trauma.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's good to go because it's like two different.
No, I think because if I was speaking it from deep trauma, then I'd be...
Well, you don't have deep trauma.
That's what I mean. Then I'd be speaking out of turn. Is that right? Oh,
yeah. So it's just funny because I'll be like, oh, like it's just like feelings and emotions, and then you're like, oh, like stocks, exponential growth, 10%. I'm like, oh, okay.
I'm just a wannabe businessman.
No, you're such a businessman.
Trader.
But I think the overall arching theme, and I remember people... got a bit closer.
Overall Archie.
I'm going to go off on a tangent here, but it's like, it's funny how now I'm at a place where like you can kind of touch on this really deep stuff, but then you're like, okay, I don't know. Anyways, I think the biggest thing, like say, I think you said last time if there's anyone that is starting a health and fitness journey or whatever, and I think like this is more if there's anyone that is like in that really, something really, really shit just happened to you and you're really down there, and you, if there's anyone, not that fucking no one's going to listen that has for anything, but if there is.
How do you know?
Oh, maybe. True. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors.
You don't know. Yeah, you don't know who listens to it. That's one thing about the podcast is even though it doesn't get like the most listens in the world.
There could be one person listening to this that has went through something really, really shit. So if there is, I'm talking to you. And when I say this, you're going to be like, oh, you're not going to be like that. You're going to be like, shut the fuck up. Because that's what I was like when people told me this. But it does get better. Like, and I know it's like almost annoying to hear that. Like you literally want to punch everyone in the face because when you're right down there, you're there and you're just thinking, how this is never going to be better again. Like I remember us being like, couldn't even watch TV, couldn't listen to music. I was like, I'm never going to listen to a song again. And then fast forward, like we've been to Taylor Swift, we've been to Noah Kahan, we're going to Oasis next year. Not only have I listened to songs, I've been to concerts. Like it's just what you think like this is never gonna be good again. But take it from someone who has been there, like the worst possible place anyone can be, and it does get better. Like slowly but surely. It might take a year, it might take a few years, but one day you're gonna wake up and be like so proud of yourself that you stuck around and that you got through it.
Yeah, I think that's a very good piece of advice that if somebody is listening, probably will be very valuable to hear.
Yes.
Because, it'd be very, very difficult to be in that situation.
Yeah.
So
but you are stronger than you think you are.
Yeah, stronger than you ever know, aren't you, really?
Yeah, and it's really important to recognize that within yourself. Like, people are like, oh, it's big-headed to do this or that. But, like, no, be proud of yourself. Like, if you went through something shit and you got out of bed today, like, be proud of yourself. Like, you're doing good. And it's just going to continue to get better. Like, another annoying thing is when people are like, time heals. But, well, not unfortunately. Fortunately, it does. Like, as time goes by, your brain literally rewires. No, I'm not going to go into like brain surgery.
You can say that you felt like
your brain literally gradually rewires, because it's like when you go through something, when it's shocking too, you're like, everything's like, oh, what is going on? And all your brain is trying to do is make sense of things. Like, that's all it wants to do. And gradually over time, you'll find a way to kind of make sense of things, but it's also a bit of accepting that it's never going to 100% make sense. But yeah, your brain just it's got you. That's what, like, my therapist always says, like, your brain wants you to feel better. Like, your body is working for you. You just need to work with it, and not, going back to what we were saying at the start, not giving to the bad habits that are just going to make it harder for your body. Like, your body's trying to heal, your brain's trying to heal. All you have to do is everything you can to help it. And you'll get there.
Yeah.
You will get there.
Slow and steady progress.
Yeah.
Then when you do get there, you'll be, like you say, be a better version.
Yeah. It's like, not only can things get better, they can get even better than they were before.
Yeah, new and improved.
Yeah, because when people who have went through shit, like, often if you look at really big celebrities or actors or whatever, they've usually been through shit. Because when you, like, understand how valuable life is and you understand how short life is, it completely changes your perspective on everything. And you can use that to fuel yourself to just do shit and not hold yourself back anymore. Because I think even with the Pilates stuff, like, for so long, the thing I always thought was, I'm not in good enough shape or fit and healthy enough to be a Pilates instructor. Like, people would look at me and be like, why would we listen to you? Like, you're not fit enough, kind of thing. And then it's like, when you go through something and you just think, why would I let that hold me back? You know what I mean?
Yeah, you shouldn't let anything hold you back, should you?
Like, imagine if you got to the end of your life and then you were like, oh, I didn't do something because I thought someone might think, oh, you don't look like a Pilates instructor. Like you are. If you say you're a Pilates instructor, you're a Pilates instructor.
Especially
you get to
these
decide.
Yeah. Especially these days, you can be whatever you want to be within literally seconds.
Like, just do the stuff. Just
create
do
an
it.
Instagram account and post about it, and then you are that thing.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, we are all going to die. Like, genuinely, every single person. We're all going to be dead one day. And nothing that you ever did is going to have that much of an impact unless you, like, invent... That's really cool.
AI.
That's already happened though. Like, unless you're an inventor, that's going to go in the history books. But even then, you're going to be dead and not going to be around to, like, hear about it. So just do the thing you want to do. Like, just do it. Just get up right now and go and start doing the thing you want to do, and stop doing things you don't want to do just because it pleases other people, because we're literally all going to die. Sorry.
I think that's what makes life so special, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because if we were around forever, then
nothing's in a rush.
Nothing matters anyways. But, like, if you're around forever, you wouldn't be able to understand how precious life is. But I just think people forget. Like, obviously, you don't want to think about death and you don't want to think about dying. Like, who does? It's not really a nice thought. But I mean, to understand how fragile life is sometimes can be the thing that gets you out of bed and just gets you to do the shit you want to do, and don't hold yourself back. Like, literally, don't hold yourself back from anything. Don't have regrets. Like, I always say the thing that I don't want to do is regret not, like, doing anything. Like, that's,
yeah.
You know.
You don't regret the things you don't do.
Yeah. And it's like, if you fuck up, it's okay.
Just try something else.
You'll pick yourself back up again. But yeah, it's like, too, we all think, oh, I have 60 years to do this thing, blah, blah, blah. Like, we could literally die tomorrow. Like, it happens. People just don't wake up. It's like, but I think for me, that was it's still a scary thought. And it does make, because do you know when, so you said that you were doing another podcast and you were talking about death and life, and you said you were like, you said it's turned your tummy, it makes you feel sick. And I said to you, because I got really bad death anxiety after what happened to me, and when I tell you, I was thinking about the fact I'm going to die, my parents are going to die, you're going to die, every single day for like months. And you were like, oh shit, like, this is how you've been feeling. And I was like, yeah, this is how I've been feeling. So yeah, it is scary. It's really, really scary. But then it's like, going back to that victim mindset of like, am I going to be a victim to the fact I'm going to die? Or am I going to use the fact I'm going to die to live my life right now?
Yeah, 100%. And I was saying as well, I find it crazy. I even get a bit of a feeling now of, say, what was life like before we were born? Because like, say, our parents were around for however many years.
It's like that thing
and
of...
we just appeared out of nowhere. It's crazy.
Yeah, because...
What were we?
I've like in
Nothing.
the trying to, because my therapist said to help with the death anxiety, I need to kind of pick something that I think happens after we die as like a thing that, because that's why, not why, I don't know, that's a dangerous thing to go down, but say if you believe in heaven, you're obviously not going to have as bad death anxiety because you think, well, one day me and my family are all going to reunite. I just don't, I have no belief. Like, I'm not saying that nothing happens, but nothing could happen. I'm the type of person that like, I need some evidence, like give me some evidence.
Steady.
And I've had none. So, but the weird thing is when you say like, well, what happens after death? Well, what were we before we were born? So either there is some source and our souls go back to it, or we never existed before and we just won't exist after. And I think either whatever happens at the end of the day, I'm not going to be this me. Like, I'm sure that whatever, if we do take on a different form or we reincarnate or whatever happens, like, I'm never going to be this me in this body with my family, with my friends, with my opportunities, with my life. So it's like, regardless of what happens after, you just need to make the most of being you now. Like, even if there is something after, it's not going to be this exact thing. And it's, I seen a thing the other day too about like being kind of, when people are so mean to themselves and mean to their bodies, and it's like, this is the thing that carries us through life and is going to carry us to death. And it's like, you need to be more grateful for that too.
Look after it more.
Yeah, like if we are a soul in a vessel, like look after your vessel. Like really look after it. It's the only one we get.
Yeah, a lot of people don't do that, do they?
No, but it can be in different ways. Like obviously, like you shouldn't like drinking, drugs, etc. But then too, it's like trying to be, like for guys, trying to be the biggest, muscliest person on steroids, or for girls, trying to be the tiniest person and not eating food. It's like, obviously it's from societal pressures, but you should really just treat your body better, because you do want to be here for as long as it's physically possible. Well, I personally would like to, well, not be here for as long as possible, but have quality of life for as long as possible. So yeah, I think it's just really important to look after yourself, mentally and physically.
Yeah, definitely. It is scary to think what happened before, what happened after. But
well, we don't know, and we're never going to, well, we might find out, unless it's just blackness, then we'll just cease to exist anymore. But the whole point is we're probably not going to know whilst we're alive. So when you get that really scary thought of like, fuck, like I'm going to die, everyone's going to die, what's going to happen? Just like try your best to counter it with like, okay, I'm going to die. So therefore, let's live.
It's a very good point.
Yeah. So
yeah, wrap it up.
And on that note.
Yeah, any final bits of advice for people?
I think just obviously everything that I've said already, I think just about how it gets better, and just, I think the biggest thing that we keep coming back to is just, you really just need to live for you. And I feel like this has came up in every podcast we've done. Like we've just went on a big rant about death. Like we are actually all going to die, but we just all need to use that as a reminder to live for ourselves and not do what we think other people want us to do, and just do what makes you feel good. And look after yourself and look after your body.
Yeah. Proud of you.
And do Pilates.
Yeah. Sign up to Claudia's
my Pilates.
new Instagram, because it'll be out by now probably, won't it?
Yeah. Araha Pilates. It means love, because my middle name is Araha.
Yeah.
Love.
Just go follow that. Make sure to subscribe, like the video, comment your favourite part. Claudia will hopefully be on again soon if she gets the invite. And if you're listening on Spotify, I'll make sure to follow the podcast and leave a 5-star review, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.